Wilson Fisk has tightened his grip on New York City and is looking to run strong in his re-election thanks to the stolen powers of Purple Man. With an army of supervillains at his back and a deputized crew of super-villainous Thunderbolts patrolling the streets, no one is safe from Kingpin's wrath. Marvel's recent events have been rather mixed in quality. Some start off really strong, but tend to sputter by the third issue. Fortunately, Devil's Reign issue number 3 bucks the trend, thus going 3 for 3 with quality and entertainment. The script is fantastic, each scene is well paced, and because of that, it draws you into the characters' experiences, whilst advancing their part of the story forward towards new conflicts and ramifications based on said characters' actions. What I think Zdarsky does amazingly well is delivering a story that's downright depressing in so many ways, yet it doesn't feel dark or hopeless. There's still that glimmer of hope being shown, despite all the frustrations that many of the heroes are currently dealing with. Plus, when it comes to the main cast of heroes that the event is focusing on, I love how Daredevil is still obviously important, yet the real hero in this is actually Luke Cage. And honestly, I'm glad Marvel's doing him justice. I think that typically Luke Cage is a character who can be easily ignored, but in truth there's a lot to like about him that can really make him level up amongst the top tier status of certain Marvel heroes. What's also exciting about Devil's Reign is the writing. Zdarsky achieves this masterfully by showcasing the connection that all these heroes have with one another, and he's able to do so by providing them each with their own distinct voice. Every character presenting a point of view towards the situation that can bounce back and forth with an organic flow of dialogue. It's great stuff. So because of that, it truly feels like a community and a family of sorts coming together. Chichetto's artwork continues to be absolutely stunning, as it brilliantly depicts the tiredness and the exhaustion that our characters are undergoing. Since the characters have been, in hiding and fear for the last several weeks, it makes sense that many of them would appear scruffy and unshaven. The injuries that Spider-Man has picked up from Taskmaster look raw and painful. Basically, everyone's appearance here looks as it should, given the situation. Now, the whole superhero grandeur of comics is a bit absent in this issue. Sure, it's apparent when, the Human Torch melts down the door and the Thing just casually walks through a wall. But in general, the superhero element is reduced in order to allow a more grounded story to transpire. Basically, if you're looking for that Avengers Circle scene to happen here, then you're probably going to be a bit bummed. But overall, Devil's Reign issue number 3 maintains its high quality, and Zdarsky has mixed the emotional weight and melodrama of his Daredevil run and elevates it into the city-level event. Every one of the characters is present because they all have meaning since this is their home, thus sort of highlighting on how important people like Iron Man, the Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man are in the city. Basically, every hero from Luke Cage to Invisible Woman is part of something bigger, and the exploration of this by shutting down a city is fantastic. Devil's Reign issue number 3 gets an 8.5 out of 10. Our story picks up with Ben Reilly's Spider-Man, who is being interrogated by some cops, who obviously are not fans of the superhero community, and it's apparent that they've been beating Ben down to a bloody pulp, as they're trying to get him to reveal his name. Now sure, it could have been very simple for them to, just run his prints and whatnot, but half of the police department is divided between right and wrong, because Spider-Man and the rest of the superheroes have saved the city countless times, and so prosecuting them is something that half the police department just doesn't agree with. But not these cops, they don't give a singular shit. But fortunately, this interrogation is quickly cut short, and that is because we have the arrival of the Thing and Johnny Storm, and they are letting everyone know that they are not here to fight and are not trying to hurt anyone. They are simply just trying to save their friend from whatever is going on. Thus, Johnny Storm quickly melts down the door that is holding Spider-Man inside, and the Thing just literally walks through a wall, and they let these officers know that they are taking Spider-Man with them, and with them making their escape, the trio are set to hide in the underground with every other superhero who's wanted, because sadly going to a hospital to get Spider-Man help isn't even an option due to what's going on. But there is still some hope in changing all of this, and that hope lies with Luke Cage. For Luke Cage is running against Mayor Fisk. He is going to try and be mayor so that he can get rid of this ridiculous law. And so with Luke giving his speech and letting everyone know that he is here to help everyone, he's letting them know that criminalizing superheroes for saving the day is in fact a crime of itself. It's completely unethical. And he reminds them all that we are talking about the Kingpin of crime. We are talking about Wilson Fisk. And never in the history of never ever has Fisk ever really given a shit about the people. Thus, Luke Cage vows that he will save the city like he has done countless times prior. However, this time he will save New York via a political path. Elsewhere, we pick up with Susan Storm, who is currently talking to her lawyer and is trying to figure out on what options her and Reed have. Now, of course, Fisk and his people have made some BS charges and are simply doing this in order to keep the two away from the Baxter building, but at least for the time being. However, our Fantastic Four team is separated, and it doesn't look like Sue or Reed are going to get out of jail anytime soon. Thus, this picks us up with Purple Man, currently in confinement and being kept prisoner by Wilson Fisk. Now, Purple Man has to ask the question, why? Why is he using his power to manipulate a city into voting for him? Essentially, he's asking the question because, for someone like Kingpin to go after New York City, enacting the superhero law, it just sort of feels like a move that's beneath him, considering all the power that Fisk has already acquired. Yet despite Fisk acting like, this is some kind of play for something bigger, Purple Man isn't stupid, because at the heart of all this, the real reason that Fisk is acting so petty is because of Daredevil. For the Devil of Hell's Kitchen has gotten under Fisk's skin. More specifically, Fisk is missing his memories of knowing the true identity of Daredevil. Later on, Fisk gets into contact with Doc Ock, and he lets the villain know that it's time to find the Purple Man's children. However, Doc Ock tells him that, yeah, you can fuck off, because their arrangement has already been settled. Now, once Doc Ock hangs up the phone, we see him and his variants from the multiverse, and as it stands, they are all sharing the same dream, for they want the ultimate power of the multiverse. And with a little bit more time and patience, they will let their superiority be known. Afterwards, upon looking at the most recent polling, apparently Luke Cage isn't doing so well, whereas Fisk is doing great. Now, this comes as a big surprise to the heroes because it truly seemed as if everyone was really on board with Luke Cage. Suddenly, this is where Jessica Jones begins to feel something, a disturbance in the force. That something being Purple Man, for she feels that somehow Fisk is using him in some shape or form in order to influence everyone, and if anyone can detect Purple Man's power, then it's definitely Jessica Jones. And so with this big reveal coming to light, Daredevil is ready to go in and put a stop to Kingpin once and for all. However, Captain America tries to slow him down and, maybe we should talk about this in a more calmer way. But Daredevil isn't about that right now. And so basically he tells America's Boy Scout to either join him or to fuck off. Later on, we pick up in a random alleyway and we see the children of the Purple Man, currently out on the streets, having nowhere safe to go. And while the Thunderbolts are out on patrol and are searching everywhere for them, we see a wonderful old lady walk up and offer the kids some shelter. Just being your average good citizen and your typical friendly old lady. And though the thought of influencing her comes to mind, rather instead, the kids don't use their powers because, if they're going to be part of society one day, if they're going to, grow up and be good people, then they have to learn how to trust people. Thus, the children decide to trust the woman. Afterwards, we pick up with our heroes and they are about to make their attack on Wilson Fisk as they sit on a building top right outside of his place. But suddenly, this is where they end up getting attacked by the squad of Dr. Octopus and his variants. Now, Dr. Octopus and his variants had come here in an opportunity to take Fisk down, for they were going to remove him from his seat of power because they had every intention of taking the power for themselves. Plus, Doc Ock has already had a political candidate to try and take him down, thus that candidate being Tony Stark, or at least someone who we thought was Tony, because underneath that Iron Man suit was the Chameleon, which makes sense, and to be honest, I honestly did not see that coming, so well played, Chip. Well played. Now for our heroes, this wasn't the fight that they expected to be fighting today. Rather, they expected to go in and take down Kingpin and try and figure out how he's connected to Purple Man. They didn't expect Doc Ock and his variants to make their attacks so sudden. Therefore, due to being completely outnumbered, unequipped, and completely unready for this fight, the heroes make their escape. However, by doing this, they sadly only enforce the idea that the superheroes are out of control, and thus, Kingpin declares them as assassins. Elsewhere, while all this shit is going down, we check in with Franklin Nelson, who is heading back into his office to work out some paperwork regarding Luke Cage. and as he enters his office, Foggy is met by two thugs who are there to silence him, and by using a crowbar, the two thugs bash his head in order to silence Foggy Nelson. And that, folks, was the end of Devil's Reign, issue number 3. And thank you guys for checking out my video, as it truly means the world to me. And as always, I am your majestic sayer of words, SuperCliff, and if you guys are new to the channel, then do me a solid by smashing that like and subscribe button, and also hit that notification bell so that you'll never miss out on an upload, and so that you'll always be kept up to date on your favorite top tier comics happening in the comic book world. Now tell me, what are your thoughts and opinions on this issue? Are you guys excited for issue number 4? Do you guys think Foggy's actually dead? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. And until the next video, peace.